What up, family? We are back at it again. It's your boy, Elijah, man. And I'm here with my co-host.
Mario, what is good, pod fam? Happy to be back.
Let's do it. And we are Kanes2Kicks, man. We back at it with another great episode. Mario, talk to the people about what today's episode about to be about, man.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. So, obviously, there's a lot been going around in sports and kicks, and so we just wanted to bring you guys another episode of some good content. And let's get right into it. We're gonna talk about kicks and sports. And just this past weekend, we got to see an amazing fight between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach.
Was it
And I
an
mean,
amazing fight?
I
Was
think it
it?
was. No, let's be real. We got 12 rounds of good boxing. Let's be real.
But is this what we expect from Tank? Before
You
we
know
even get
what,
into what we're
man?
gonna talk about, let's just
I
be honest.
I I think the expectation we put on Tank is unfair. Because if he doesn't knock somebody out, then he's not a good boxer or he's not a skilled boxer. That's unfair. I personally think that is unfair.
Okay, so you have a point, but you don't got a point. You got a point.
Yeah.
Your point, I give it to you. We do have expectation because of how hard he hits. We expect him to always knock somebody down. But expected the same thing when, Pretty Boy Floyd was going through it. Not talking about Money Mayweather. Money Mayweather was like, hey, don't touch my face. But Pretty Boy Floyd was, hey, I'm gonna get in the ring with you and I'm gonna fight with you. So again, even though his record is not tainted by having a draw on his record, it's just still you got a draw on your record, and that shouldn't have happened. Not on a not no.
Has
If
Michael
I,
Jordan lost a basketball game before?
but did he lose the NBA championship though?
Hey, that's a good point. Hey, that's a good point. But still, though, I think the expectation is extremely too high on a guy. Boxing's different, right? It ain't like you got four quarters. It ain't like you got a 7 game series. You got one shot to go out there and win the fight. You spend months in training camp to go win a 12 round fight. And truthfully, people gonna think I'm crazy. I think he should have won the fight. I don't think it should have been a draw, even with him putting his knee on the canvas. I think he won the fight. I think he outboxed Lamont, and now Lamont's head is about big as the earth because he think, he gave Tank the business. Now I do think Lamont fought a really good fundamental fight, right? I think he did all the right things. I think he didn't put himself out there to get knocked out. He played it safe, right? And playing it safe got him a draw. I do think if they rematch, I think Tank knocks him out.
I like the assessment. I think for me, I think again, I would say Tank won, but it was by a nose. It wasn't by a situation where he won like crazy. But I also think there's been close fights like that for Mayweather, and the fight has went for Mayweather's way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the reason why I feel like going into that fight, I'll never forget the interview that he did with Roach, and he ended up saying, oh, your mom's in the front row. I'm not gonna say, what I want to say. And I'm like, oh no, where's that dog at? And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm not
No,
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying I'm not
Yeah.
saying nobody to disrespect anybody's mother or
Yeah.
disrespect anybody. Again, this is a no woman slander, podcast. But I would never, say that. But ultimately, as a fighter, you have to have that dog in you. That's the reason why
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was so ferocious the way he was, because ultimately he didn't care about. He even told you he wanted to eat your children. So
Yeah.
ultimately, you got to be in a situation where you have that mentality going in the ring, because you got to be crazy going into the ring in the first
For
place.
sure. For
Let
sure.
alone being in a situation where you're trying to dominate somebody like that.
Yeah.
So again, man, I know we kind of getting a little bit on topic, but
Yeah.
I think for us, man, the fight was, again, I would give the fight. It was overall fight. It reminded me of like a Floyd Mayweather fight. It was some nice hits here and there, but it
Right.
wasn't anything that we're used to seeing from a Tank fight. Which I think that's the
No, for
reason why
sure.
a lot of people have invested so much in wanting to buy a fight pay per view, even though it's expensive, because you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a
Yeah.
knockout. You're gonna get some type of violence where it's not just gonna be a
For
defensive
sure.
fight.
Yeah.
So I think overall, man, it was a good fight. Again, I'm hoping for the rematches in their clause, so they will have one probably. maybe before Canelo or probably after Canelo's fight, and so it'll be kind of good to see in that situation. But
I
go ahead,
seen
bro. Oh, go
I
ahead. My
seen a
bad.
few real quick. Sorry, I seen a few tweets that said as early as May, but who knows? But we're not here for the fight, right? We really wanted to highlight, Lamont Roach, his fours, right? His custom fours, which I think is super dope. And so we talked about this a few episodes ago, where we're seeing the Jordan brand be customized in so many different sports. Not so they're not just truthfully, you don't even see retro Jordans played with in the NBA, right? But you're seeing them customize them, and they're playing with them in every other sport, right? You're seeing a lot of the 11s right now in football, right? The cleats. You see, you're seeing them in baseball, and you're seeing them in boxing, right? But you're not seeing them in basketball, which is really interesting to me. I want to see somebody wear retro Jordans like a whole season. Like I want to bring it back to the OPEs. I'm getting a little off topic, but I want to see them like the Quentin Richardson days, the Ray Allens, where they were wearing
I was
their
about to say Ray.
PEs,
Ray, you
bro.
know Ray was in that. You talking about a PE master?
He
That was
was
the PE
wearing his
master right
PEs,
there, bro.
bro,
That
which
was
is
the PE
dope.
master.
Which is super dope. So I want to see that, but even Aaron Judge, right? Like Aaron Judge, the spring training, right? He had on the Air Jordan 4 cleats, which is super dope. How do you feel about the customization of the Jordans right now and every other sport besides basketball right now? What you think about that?
Man, I think honestly, it's probably it's a great thing to see outside of basketball. Again,
Yeah.
basketball's where the shoe started again with Michael Jordan, but again, for it to be in baseball, for it to be in football, for it to be and just different things that allows more people to gravitate to the Jordan brand or the Nike brand. That again, I love it. I love the
Yeah.
intermingling between that. But to your point, I definitely wish more players will wear you know more PEs, like you see, with DeMar DeRozan, his PEs in regards to his Kobe's, or
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark, being able to wear her Kobe PEs. When Sabrina was wearing her own PEs for Kobe's, same thing. Like
Yep.
those are the things you want to see. Like again, you see
Yeah.
CD Lamb, for the Cowboys being able to wear some custom, dark blue cleats for Kobe's that have never came out before in regular shoes, but have come out in cleats. Like, come
Wow.
on, man. You see Jalen Hurts rocking some 11s that have never
Right.
came out again
Yep.
for as a general release. But you know what I mean? Like we see all these customized shoes. I just wish sometimes the public had a way to where we can be able to either customize our shoes ourselves, or we
Yeah.
can be able to get those same PEs that players are putting out. I know they wouldn't be called PEs then, but just the fact that if you're hearing a lot of fans rave about them, we should be able to have that same opportunity to be able to get them as well.
No, for sure. And you brought up a good point about DeMar DeRozan wearing the Kobe PEs and Caitlin Clark wearing the Kobe PEs. And so now what you're seeing in college is that you see USC, you see Vanessa gifted the whole team with the reverse Kobe Grinches, right? Which was super dope. I was like, geez, the whole team got
Yeah.
blessed with the Kobe reverse Grinches. But you're seeing it across the board now in college sports that a lot of the teams are starting to be. Are they sponsored by Kobe? What is the deal? I don't know. So they are sponsored by the Kobe brand,
Yeah, so some Kobe has Kobe's estate has
or is
basically
it just
Vanessa's.
Nike? Is it
No,
the
no, no, no. It's specific again to some schools. Like Duke is one of the schools. Um, again, USC. There's a few others that I can't think of the top of my head, but there's a few others that are sponsored specifically just by the Kobe brand. So
Oh, okay.
Kobe sponsors that. So Vanessa actually sent out a tweet probably a while ago, maybe a year and a half ago, of saying, "Hey, if you're not getting all of the basically all the shoes from your rep, let us know, and we will be able to make it happen." So again, they get an I'm not gonna say an unlimited amount. There probably is limit to it, but the majority of their stuff that comes from them is as much as they need. Again,
Right.
if they need more basketball shoes in regards to that, shout out to Juju Watkins. She was rocking the sales in the
She was.
State Farm commercial before everybody else. And again, that's been one of her go-to shoes. When she is rocking right now and having the dominant year that she is, man, being nominated player of the year. Love being able to see her, put that up. But I think for me being able to see Kobe brand, as passionate as I am about, Kobe, um, I love seeing that, man, because the new generation is able to see what I grew up on. Somebody that has, in my personal opinion, the best three consecutive shoes outside of Jordan. There's nobody else that has a better three consecutive shoe that he did. His Kobe
For sure.
4 is 5 and 6. There's
Yeah.
nobody else that competes for it. If you want to talk about it in the comments, let's do it. But there is nobody that has released a shoe, whether that's Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph Curry, whatever you want to throw out there, James Harden. Nobody has released a three consecutive shoes that can touch Kobe's three consecutive shoes.
And that's outside of Jordan, right?
That's outside of Jordan. Outside of
Okay, I was
Jordan.
finna say,
No,
boy,
no, no,
you
no,
finna
no.
have some issues on your hands in the
No, no,
comments.
no, 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 no. Outside of Jordan,
Okay,
I think
okay.
for me it's again Kobe, and again from the 4, 5, and 6. And again, I can also say a different number as well, but I'm gonna say 4, 5, and 6 is definitely the
Yeah,
stronghold.
no, for
But
sure, for sure.
I think it's good to see, man. Especially with March Madness coming up, it's gonna be great. Just to
Yeah,
be able to see that brand going along, man. Especially when you're talking about money. Most sponsors are looking for the money. So again, when you have a Final Four team like Duke that is sponsored by, the Nike brand, but the umbrella of Kobe Bryant, it's great to see that, man. So if
yeah,
imagine you having all four teams that are all Kobe Bryant sponsored teams. That does
yeah.
more
No,
because more people want to be a part of that.
yeah, no, for sure. That is super dope too. And I like the idea of these young student athletes embracing, the Kobe mentality, right? Because the Kobe mentality goes way further along than just a sneaker, right? It's embracing this gritty attitude. It's embracing this, you're convicted about what you're doing, right? You're like when your teammates is out partying, right? You have this different type of conviction about yourself that no, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna put some work in, or I'm gonna go get me some rest so I can be rested up and prepared, for practice or the game tomorrow. So I love the idea that it's literally putting this type of mentality into the heart, into the mind of these young adults, man. Because not only can they take this far along in their athletic career, but just in life in general. I know that's something you and I always talk about, right? We didn't play collegiate sports. We played sports growing up in high school and stuff like that. But just the Mamba mentality, what it did for us growing up, up on Kobe. Like people used to always ask me, who's better, Kobe or Jordan? It was never a knock against Jordan, but I just didn't come up in the Jordan era. I came up in the Kobe era, and what the Kobe era did for me as a person is just, I mean, just the thought process and the grit and just getting it done by any means necessary, right? And just that enough said mentality, and you just
Oh,
go until right. So I love seeing the Kobe's right now in college sports. I love the mentality that these young kids are speaking with, even in the NBA, man, they're rocking the Kobe's like crazy. And this is not a Kobe episode. We kind of just got on
no,
this
it
Kobe
is.
talking because it's Kobe, man. He just kind of bring a different type of energy when you bring up his name. So I'm
So I
excited
mean,
to see what happens.
I definitely want to add some again before us going to the next topic. I do have a poster that reads the Mamba
Yeah,
mentality. So I'll read it to you. Mamba mentality to constantly try to be the best version of yourself every
yeah.
single day.
Keep her
That's the
shoe.
Kobe mentality. Every single day, man, getting better. As we know, if you get 1% better, man, you had a 33% better than where you were at that same time next year. So again, that's
Yeah.
what you want to be. Um, Side note, before we go to a different topic, because you did say something in there that I didn't get to really address. But how do you feel about seeing certain PEs coming from, whether that's Kobe PEs or or Jordan PEs, coming from these colleges like Florida, and you don't get your hands on them? Like, how do you feel just as a person that
You
likes
know
shoes?
what? I'll always say there's levels to this, right? And like when you get into like it's like PJ Tucker, right? Like when he had those LeBrons and LeBron, like, yo, bro, how you get those? It's just
he
levels
got
to it.
he got Giannis's shoes before Giannis got his.
You know
Like
what I'm
what?
saying? It's just levels to it, and PJ Tucker's on a whole different level. And then truthfully, they're just paying top dollar for him too. Like when you see cats like with the Oregon Duck threes, and then you're saying, um, who else did you name? But
Florida,
Florida, right?
Florida,
But
yeah.
super just popular. Like the Oregon Duck threes are just super popular shoe. I've never seen it in person. I've always seen it through channels and on social media, but um, that's kind of as a collector, that's something you aspire to do is get your hands on something like that eventually,
Come on,
right?
man. Come on.
That's the upper echelon of sneaker collecting, if you want to put it like that. So,
And then
um,
some of them collectors, man, are getting the Florida shoes, and the Florida shoes have specifically for all the football players or
yeah,
whoever that is playing, and they have their number in them.
yeah,
So again, the reason why I have their number in them because if you sell them online, they'll
you
know
know,
and they'll
yeah,
be able to kind of tax you for that.
yeah,
But it's just again for me, I would love to have my own, somebody else's PE that I could be able to have for my own,
yeah.
in that situation. So yeah, man, I'm with you hands down. But yeah, go
You,
ahead, man. I wanted to be able to kind of hit on that before we went on the next topic.
and it's a collection that I really enjoy watching or looking at is Mike Bibby's PE collection.
Oh,
He
Jesus.
has a
Woo,
crazy PE collection.
woo.
Crazy. I mean, it's dope. So if I can get my hand on some PEs in the future, obviously I'm sure you're gonna have to put up some bread or obviously it ain't what you know, it's who you know too, right? So,
Come on, because hey,
you got
you might know somebody that got a family and friends for you.
you know what I'm saying? So you just kinda gotta be in the right situation. But um let's go to Adidas, bro. I wanted to talk about Adidas because we talked about Adidas real brief on a few
Hmm.
episodes ago, and we were talking about just in comparison to Nike, and you were saying the Sabrinas look like the Kobe's, just a different version of them. And I agree that the Sabrinas look like the Kobe's, but I feel like Nike is not they're not being too creative with their shoes when Adidas right now they're literally like in the future, right? Their shoes look so futuristic, and I seen something on Twitter and it was called the like the outer limit pack, right? Or something
Hmm.
like that. And they had the Dame shoes in there. They had James Harden. Am I missing
Donovan Mitchell.
somebody?
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell and
Hmm.
Anthony Edwards.
Hmm.
And every shoe looks futuristic, right? Like the Anthony Edwards look futuristic. The new James Harden look futuristic. And so I'm at a point right now that I'm feeling like Adidas is making some really, really big noise in the shoe industry as far as for sports athletics in the basketball community. And so I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I think, man, I had to after our episode, I had to kind of go look at, not just James Harden's, got to had to really go look at Adidas and really go
Yeah.
give them the benefit of the doubt of looking at them rather than just saying like, "Oh, not cool with
Yeah.
them." I think the James Hardens, bro, are you talking about a nice basketball shoe, bro? Different, different, definitely different, man. Dame's shoe, I think this is one of his best models that he's put out. And even you could say Spider, this is his, I would say, second best model. His first model was great because again, you had the kids really, behind his first model. But his second model right now is, or not his second model, but this model in particular is a great model. And again, going off what you said, I think Adidas is trying a lot more, but you also got to think about it, and I don't mean this in a bad way. This is just me speaking honestly. When you're down by a lot, you try to do everything you can to be able to get ahead and see if something's gonna work. If somebody's already cranking it out and doing their thing and leading number one for God knows how long in the sports world or in the world of um consumers, when you don't have that number one title, I'm gonna shoot everything I can to make sure I get there.
I
So
disagree.
I'm just I mean that's just
I disagree.
that's just
I
my first
disagree.
again, we're in a situation where I understand why. All I'm saying is if I'm down, if I'm say for example, we just watched the Warrior game not too long ago. The Warriors are down 15 going into the half. They have nothing to lose. Steph, just shoot. Steph, shoot again. Shoot from everywhere. It doesn't matter. As long as it goes in, we're good. That's all I'm saying. Again, Adidas really was like, hey, we have nothing to lose. What do we have to lose? I need you to just try. And if it works, we're either number one or we're still going to be behind the number one person. So
Oh
what are
my
we going to do?
gosh.
That's
Oh
all.
my
That's
god.
all I'm saying. But that's just,
No,
again, my personal opinion.
I don't think. Okay, they are behind Nike. Let's be real, right? Nike, Adidas,
That,
but I don't think they're like chasing. I think they're in their own lane, and I think they're doing very well. To be honest with you, I
but
mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's now though. That's what I'm saying. Like now, I think they're in their lane.
oh,
They're
you didn't wear pro
comfortably in
models
their lane.
growing up?
You saw what?
You didn't wear pro models growing up? Adidas pro models?
What? I wore the crazy 8s. Like, again, I ain't gonna
See,
sit here and lie to you.
my point. Do you
Yeah.
know Kobe was with Adidas before he was with Nike?
Come on, man. You, again, of all people, you know I know.
So they're not chasing Nike. They're just in their own lane.
But I
They're
think
killing in soccer. They got Messi, bro. What are you talking about? You talking about just basketball. You talking about a global
that's
sport as
not
in
okay. First of all,
soccer.
that's not what I'm okay.
We're
That's
not
not what
chasing
I'm saying.
Nike.
We were talking about a particular brand in regards to
Okay.
the US, in regards to American sports, in regards to either American football, again, basketball, even baseball. Those are the, again, three big. I'm not saying American, I'm not saying football, meaning soccer, is not global. Yes, hands down. We know that. World Cup, amazing. Every kid wants the Messis. We know that.
Messi's
But
are crazy, and Adidas is killing it
they're killing it in the
globally.
soccer industry, yes. But just like with Nike, remember when Nike was behind Converse, Converse thought they had the game locked up, right? But what did Nike have to do? Nike had to do a Hail Mary, putting all their money into one person and trying to give him his own PEs and putting his name on it and doing all these things. And what happened? Ended up being the big Jordan brand. They tried to do it with Magic Johnson, but Magic Johnson tried to go with Converse instead. Converse didn't want to hear any new ideas that Magic came up with that he heard from Nike in regards to putting his name on it, PE in it, having special colorways. No, they want to stay the same thing. All I'm saying is with Adidas, this is their moment to be able to surpass Nike by shooting their shot. And they're shooting, and they are shooting. Again, they right now they're in a season where they haven't missed. And so it's just now, like they say, whoever controls the youth controls the market.
Right.
And right now, Nike is still controlling the youth.
Yeah.
Again, with the Jaws, with the Sabrinas, with A1s coming out, they have the market locked up. But what I
In
will say is
basketball.
in
Just
basketball,
though.
in basketball and football, nobody really got no PEs. But you talk about, we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah,
ain't nobody really wearing Adidas out there on the football field.
that's all
I
I'm
don't
saying.
see them.
But going to that main point, like again, controlling that market, I honestly think the new SAs, for his shoe that just dropped or getting ready to drop, that model is amazing. I just kind of looked at them not too long ago. They look like kind of a version of a glove as well. Great shoe. Again, he controls the youth right now, being so young that he is, potentially being an MVP for the NBA this year. So again, you control the youth, you control the market.
No, that's true.
I mean, ask Ja Morant. Before everything happened, Ja Morant was controlling the market like no other.
No, he was.
So
and he'll be back too. But no, you 100% right. I just had to give us something to talk about. Because I like Adidas. I like Nike too. And I think Adidas has done well for a very long time. Like I remember wearing pro models growing up, bro, and trying to have every single color, the navy blue, the gold, to match the uniform with the Adidas socks. Like, so I don't want to say like Adidas is like I don't consider Adidas the little brother to Nike. I just think they're in their own lane. I think if you reverse the roles and you say, okay, from a global standpoint, Adidas kicking their butt. I mean, you can from a global.
because the only thing you're gonna say is soccer. That's the only thing. But if we talk about global,
it's the biggest sport ever.
Again, I will give you that. But as I'm saying, globally, just that one particular sport, yes. But if you start adding global in regards to track and field, Nike has some great track and field athletes.
I see Adidas out there too, though.
Again, but I'm not saying they're not. But most of their top athletes,
and the fastest guy a few years ago, he's wearing Puma, by the way.
I mean, again, but the other athletes that were silver and bronze were definitely Nike athletes. That's all I'm saying. But again, I understand what you. Again, I love
for sure.
I love the conversation with it.
For sure.
So I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I think you have one more question before we get ready to wrap up.
I do have a question for you. So, as far as like trend setting and culture in sports, which athlete, past, present, which athlete do you shout out? Like, which athlete comes to mind when you talk about like transcending and just standing on the throne of sneakers and sports and really just paving the way?
So we're talking about standing on sneakers, or are we talking about just paving the way? What are we talking about? Both. Okay, so paving.
I think there's one person in particular. You probably thinking the same person.
Yeah.
who did it
Yeah.
for both, right? For sneakers, and he paved the way. But outside of Michael Jordan, then, right? Because Michael Jordan is as far as culturally,
Hmm.
sneaker wise, athletic wise, sports wise, like I mean, there's no other who's done it like him, right?
Hmm.
The only thing that I don't like right now about Jordans is that I don't like Team Jordans, right? And you don't see retros on the court anymore, which is like, I wish I could see like somebody hooping in the 13s, right? And I know just, with the new technology and, just the like shoes are light. Like people want light shoes. They want to be mobile. They want to be, agile and be able to move. But outside of Jordan, though, who is that next athlete for us?
At trend setting, I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of this person, but off the court, this man does everything. Again, in regards to for the culture, for the youth, for I would say a lot of different people would be LeBron. Again, not a fan of the work on the court. And again, people, if y'all want to see me in the comments, you can come and see me. But again, I think him overall as a person, man, great person. The look at him, man, a father making sure that your son is taken care of, both of your sons. I think Bryce is getting ready to drop his own PE. Of LeBron's. So again, man, to be able to see that, come on, bro. And then as well, man, just to be able to see the overall just love that he has, man, for the culture. Again, I think we're all not perfect. And yeah, he has things that, he can be able to work on, but I think ultimately, man, just from a black father to a black father, I would definitely shout out LeBron. Um, in regards to non-athletes or in regards to an athlete maybe that was pushed away from their craft, I would say definitely Colin Kaepernick. And I know we'll
Mm,
probably get in more to a more of a deep episode about Colin. But I would say Colin Kaepernick, man. Colin stayed 10 toes on what he believed in, and again got pushed out of the league because of what he believed in. Whether you agree with it or not, he still is fighting for, again, justice for people that look like me, that look like Mario. And ultimately, again, for somebody that just went to the Super Bowl 2, 3 years before that, and for him not to have a job, that is rare. Again, there's quarterbacks in the league now that are still in the league now that went to a Super Bowl that are now backups. So again, that's a whole different topic for a different day. But I would
yeah,
just say in regards to him being a trendsetter, him still being one of the highest non-athletes paid on Nike's staff. Come on, man. He just was in on sneakers app for the generals that he was supporting, man. Like, come on.
yeah,
Like again, bro, you talking about that? I mean, he's my fraternity brother, but most importantly, he's my brother. Because again, we have known him thick and thin, before all of this. But ultimately, man, we know the person that's deep within him, and he's done
yeah.
so much, man, for the community, let alone for people that he just interacts with. Man, you would think that he's met you, years and years ago. But yeah, man, that again, I'm not gonna get on a big soliloquy about that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, man, those are my two.
Those are actually two really good too. And truthfully, I didn't expect you to say LeBron or Cap. And shout out to LeBron and Cap, man. I think LeBron and Cap are both stand up guys, and first and foremost, just for standing on business and standing for something, right? Which I really enjoy, especially with LeBron, man. He's just, I mean, what was it? Is it 50,000 points or something? And
Yep,
at his
including playoffs.
age,
Yep, playoffs
yeah,
and
and
season.
and
Yep.
so he doesn't rank as my top basketball player, but it's just different eras of basketball for me, right? So
Hmm.
just like Michael Jordan isn't, the all-time best for me, but I know he's one of the greatest basketball players. But it was just, I grew up on Kobe, so it's just a different type of thing. But yeah, that's pretty dope, man. I would say just who's coming up, and I have to name a female athlete, and we spoke about her a few episodes ago, but Asia Wilson, and just excited for what she has to come, and just for again for that type of culture for the female culture, and what they bring to little girls that look like her and who's out there trying to
Hmm.
play basketball and stuff like that. And so for her to get her signature shoe and what she's doing for the culture is pretty dope. So I think those are three good ones between Asia, Cap, and LeBron. Those are three dope ones that stand out for me too.
And lastly, I'm gonna just give one out shout out because you just kind of crossed my mind when you said that. I'm gonna give a shout out to Serena Williams.
Oh,
Serena
big time.
Williams, man, again, a woman that has trendsetted the tennis industry, let alone the industry for women over there at Nike. Um, Again, she is now a owner of the. Ooh, she is now an
Something in
owner.
Canada.
Yes, somewhere in Canada, I think with basketball, women's basketball, if I'm not mistaken. She's one of the owners over there, man. So that's huge shout out to her. You talking about trendsetter, a woman that had won a title while pregnant. Come on,
Hmm.
bro. Come
Yeah, that's
on
dope.
now.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, as we wrap up, man, like I said before, this is a uh this is a no women again, slander at all, man. We always gonna uplift our women, let alone our black women, man. So again, man, we appreciate everybody that is on this pod, man, tuning in with us, man. This has been a great episode. As always, man, if you have not subscribed, hit that button for us, man. Repost, comment, but most importantly, stay engaged, man, because we love being able to hear from you guys, and we love being able to just showcase just what we know and what we love about this culture, man. But as well, man, before we end, man, I just want to let you guys know, man, we are looking to have some fun with y'all. What I mean by that is, man, I would say later episodes, man, we got something, in the works that we want our fans to be a part of. I'm gonna just say, man, make sure you get your heat ready, because we definitely gonna be, calling on, people that got some heat to come on the episode. So, man, we're looking forward to seeing y'all, man. But most importantly, man, Mario, do you have anything to say, to our family that's out there, man, before we get out of here?
Absolutely. And we just appreciate you guys' support. And like Elijah said, just stay engaged and we're gonna continue to bring you good content and bring the heat. And if there's anything you guys want to see, just write it in the comments and let us know. And we'll be sure to, try to make it happen. So we love y'all and we out.
Yee!